I have a friend, a wonderful woman who, when I talk about being a shiro, she plays the trumpet. I got to work on my trumpet. Welcome. Today, this is the case of unholstered truth. We're going to talk about what is our kryptonite. For me, it's unholstered truth. So, there was a time some years ago when I was having a conversation with a man I thought I was going to marry. We had I don't know if anyone else has had this where sometimes it sounds like we're connected and other times it sounds like we're not even on the same planet. So we were, as we were to do, negotiating via email. And I remember this day very clearly. It was really warm. It was late in the day. I think I had fans on. And I was so frustrated because I just wanted to lay it out and say, this is what I want, dude. This is what I want. And uh, my ability to say that wasn't necessarily, I can be articulate, not necessarily when I'm warmed up. So it just so happened that I had a conversation with my friend Donna at the same time. And she was saying, you can't hold back. You got to tell him what you're thinking. Tell him straight up. I don't know if she knew exactly how I was going to tell him, but she said do that. So, I mean, we were really close, he and I, about to just make some important decision. And I just said what I said in my way, very direct. And I said, claws were out. I mean, I was really upset and I couldn't, I'm gifted with the ability to reflect the pain I'm experiencing in my written word. And I did. Full truth, no filter, 100% Murphy. And it just so happened that at the same time, he was replying to my earlier email because I was getting frustrated because I hadn't heard back from him. And he came back very kind, very thoughtful. And I had I mean, almost the exact same moment released this fury. And yes, this is a sensitive individual. It crashed the whole relationship. This went on and off for years, but that particular time, I just it just really stood out to me. And I will tell you, at the moment, I didn't really understand the lesson because I thought I was doing the right thing by communicating what I was truly feeling. So, welcome to episode 2. No skimpy costume required. This is the case of the unholstered truth. I'm Murphy. I'm delighted to see you, woman. Thanks for being here. So, the case file for today. I'm this is this time we're talking about that thing, that talent, that ability, that behavior, that practice that continues to trip you up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I tell him I love him or her, like the second date, right? Scares them off. I show my true feelings about my boss. I don't know. Um, go through for yourself. What are the things, if you have them, I assume everyone does, that trip you up on and on and on? Maybe it's second guessing. Maybe it's saying yes when your body is saying no, when there's something back here that says no. Maybe it's perfectionism. And I know perfectionism stands out for women as a high standard, but I don't know, is it really? So we are going to, in this case study, we're going to stop pretending that we don't know what it is. We're going to name it. We're going to be big in naming things. And we're going to recognize this is not about shame. If we're dredging up shame, you may want to find a resource and work through that first. Because here, this is a front porch conversation. We're just talking about what's real and authentic. And if the feels come out, that's just because this is a feels kind of world we live in. But if it somehow diminishes you, that's not what I'm after here. So we want to be sure, because we come to one another as queens, we want to be sure we elevate ourselves, come as sitting up as straight as possible, and come with our best self, knowing who we are, and then taking steps from there. I think of it as keeping my small self protected, I guess. So let's jump into this. I think we already have. Do I know where I am? No. So let's talk about kryptonite. Again, I'm pulling from Superman. I don't know what I'd say that's my favorite. I do like a good Superman movie, but I like the last one really well. However, there's some key themes that, have stayed pretty consistent throughout. So, and most people are aware of them. So I want to talk about kryptonite. And let's define kryptonite. So in the Superman series, kryptonite is an element that has evil powers, or maybe it's actually Lex Luthor who's evil, who takes this kryptonite and brings it near Superman, and it diminishes his ability to act. So we're going to focus on kryptonite being something that lessens when it's around. Now, I'm going to exaggerate here a little bit. I'm going to bet that kryptonite, when it's used appropriately, is just fine and is really helpful. But bringing it around Superman when he's in his Superman getup, it disempowers him. So we're looking for some trait, behavior, practice that you have that usually, when you're in your queen self, in your shero self, it's fine. It enhances who you are. It's an embellishment. It's positive. But if it's pushed too far, if it goes over, not so much. So maybe someone is able to make a joke in the moment about events going on around them. But if they take the joke and push it to personal, might be hard. Reminds me of the scene in Sweet Home Alabama when Reese Witherspoon's character is in the bar and maybe drunk after drinking all those martinis. And she knew her friend was homosexual. And she just brought it out, but she brought it out in public, and it was mean and spirited and hateful. And she had to go back and apologize for that. That's an example of she had the ability to know what was going on, to understand about her friend and what he was experiencing. She was respectful in front of him and talking about, oh, no girls picked you up. But then she switched to this negative part. Her own evilness came out. I don't really like the word evil, but we'll use that to help explain that. So in my story, I have I have a trail of experiences of unholstered truth. least don't speak to my family or anyone knows of me because they will verify that. So here's what happened. I had another man I was involved with, and he was a keeper. And for whatever reason, because to this moment, I'm not really sure why, before we were going to move in together and really look at taking our relationship to the next level, he had applied for and received acceptance into a program that was states away, that would be 1 year, and had very little outside contact with the world. And he said, I'm going to go away for a year and then I'll come back and we'll do this. I was like, I don't get it, but okay. And the really part I didn't get was he had very, I don't know what the situation was, but I mean, he maybe called me twice during that whole year. And it riled me up. It was really not a good thing. I'm not sure if it was a feeling of being abandoned, um, or a feeling that I couldn't see him, so maybe he's off having a good time without me. It was just, but it lit every button up. And he came back, and he let me know he came back because of me. There was nothing else in the city that he was interested in. And we started talking about our plans. But I had this residual angst that had not been expressed. And I put it in writing and I shared it with him. And he got the full measure of the upset emotion. And he said, we are not friends. And I reached out to him one more time and he said, no, we're not friends. And that was crushing. And I own the fact that what I wrote, it wasn't that it was long. It was just that it was cut right to the heart of it. And I'm sure I said, that was selfish of you to go away and not tell me what was going on. um, so I expressed deep emotion in writing. And maybe that was a cop out, a way to sort of cheat and sneak it in there. But I really believe that I'm articulate and I can write really well and evoke emotion for the better. I'm sorry. Um, and he was right. What surprised me was he never spoke to me again. It's been decades. Because, but also you talk about red flags or indicators. He had a family member who had stopped speaking to their family for years. So apparently some people do that. That's not how we do it. I had a situation with a friend, a woman who I attended college with, and I knew her all 4 years. I knew her all 4 years. And when she would come around, I would just speak my truth. I had the uncanny ability to look at someone and understand more about what they were experiencing than they might have been articulating. So I would just say it out loud, unfiltered, unholstered. I don't even have an idea what I thought I was doing with that. Maybe not everything all the time, but enough to make a point. And this woman said to me, our senior year, she said, when I didn't want to be around you. I was scared to be around you. She said, I would come and be in your presence and you would say whatever. And then I would have to go away and cry. I really appreciated her telling me that. By the time we got to our senior year, she said she wasn't as bothered by it, which is not to say I was better, and I think I was, but um, I really appreciate when people can. She was kind enough to tell me in a way that I could hear it and understand it and not just put me down and belittle me. So that it would just be perpetuated into perpetuity, right? So, what is kryptonite for you? Somewhere in there, you know what it is. Some behavior, some pattern, some word choice, something that you do. We're just looking for one. If you find more, great for later. But right now, we're just looking for one. Kryptonite in itself is not a flaw. This is like the dragons. We are not making the dragon wrong. We're just acknowledging that there might be a situation that's going on right now. It's uncomfortable, um, undesirable interruption, not fully hatched yet. Having kryptonite is not a character flaw. But when we know more about our strengths and can determine when we're delivering them at an inopportune moment, or we're just sinking our ship, or what have you. Because the ability to tell someone that you love them is a gift, right? But telling them, you know, too soon can be a problem. So I made notes. It says, if the gift is stripped away, here's how you test it. Would anything be good be left? Right. So if you strip away, if I strip away my ability to speak what it is, and the person is not harmed, and if yes, there's clarity, honesty, refusal to perform fine when you're not fine. That's kryptonite. You're not broken. You're just haven't holstered yet. You haven't holstered it yet. But if no, if you strip away the gift and would anything be left behind and you say no, well, then if you strip it away and there's nothing underneath it, that's not kryptonite. That's just a pattern. And that's a pattern that needs to end, full stop. Yeah. So, yeah. Had another situation where in a work environment, because I have lots of things to say. Not everybody wants to hear them, I'm told, but I have lots to say. And in a work environment, I had a coworker that was riling me up, wasn't behaving as I thought they should. So I wrote an email, sent it to him and his boss. And I was professional and I really made sure that I said what was true. I wasn't embellishing or anything like that. However, I had been working with his boss, also one of my bosses, on better articulating how I was feeling, what I was experiencing, and how to be better. And I sent a message to that boss, and he said, and asked for a conversation with him. I didn't hear back. So in my mind, that meant, oh, it's okay. You can do it. And I sent this thing, and boy, it was bad and got written up. All kinds of things happened. Um, that was a hard shift. That was a hard shift, but a powerful one. And so we move next to then what's the phone booth here? What's the mobile phone booth? And for me, when it comes to writing emails, the mobile phone booth is AI, so that the message can be grammatically correct, but also can be professional, maintain relationships, and be okay to put in writing. Because I will tell you, when I first got, I don't know, land-based, it felt like, for writing this email, even though my boss acknowledged what I said was true, um, it I was told by another manager, when you have those things happen, you just write it. And I said, okay, and then write, and then what? She said, don't send it. Like, that doesn't really help me. If I'm upset about something and I write a message about it to get my frustration out and then don't send it, the point was lost on me. But they came back with this idea drop it in AI. And so I've been since then writing really powerful, impactful emails, my intent, and then it's smoothed out with AI. So my question for you is, once you've identified your kryptonite, what's the mobile phone booth? What do you call in? Who do you call? Is there someone you call in? Do you have an AI prompt that you can use? Um, is it something that's meant for a notebook and not for an audience? Think those things through. I am not saying clam up. I'm also not saying be a bull in a china shop. I'm saying let's find this way to being whole and fabulous all at the same time. So we build relationship and rapport, and yeah, it's uncomfortable and yucky at times, but we're not taking out the other person or people. Okay. Be aware. um, be aware with this phone booth. If your kryptonite is not holstered or doesn't have the ability to be holstered, that's why you want to create a mobile phone. I'm just double checking my notes because I want to be sure I don't miss anything. This is not about being silent. This is not about swallowing your truth. We're meeting somewhere in the middle so we communicate effectively. And I will tell you that it's really powerful to be able to have challenging conversations, hard conversations, creative conversations, and move the ball forward and not just stay paralyzed in our little shell. So, yeah. The quest for this week: find your own unholstered moment. One time, your real strength came out at the wrong time and cost you something. What is your unholstered moment? Mine is speaking truth. Yours might be too. It might be, but there's so many other juicy ones out there to choose from. Again, we're not fixing it. We're just identifying it. We're acknowledging it. We're being aware of it, which can also help fix it. It's the same shape of it. We're using the test. Are we using their strength as a strength, or are we using our strength to run somebody over? When you've got it, of course, come find me in this video and let me know. Episode 2. Here's what I discovered. Here's my kryptonite. And if you care to, here's my mobile phone booth. If this message was a little too close to home, that's usually how I know it's the right one. And if you so choose, join me again. We'll see how many more truths we can sneak up on. Thank you for being here. Thank you for you being you, woman, absolutely being you, and stepping into this idea of being a shero, embracing it. There's so much more to come. I believe that the world right now is just at this. I'll tell you this secret piece. For the longest time, people have been saying, be the change you wish to see in the world. And I think the universe said, okay, they want the world to change. Okay. But we didn't specify how. So then what we have is all these historical traditional structures breaking down, and some people are freaking out. I see it as an opportunity, especially for women, to help build new structures, stronger structures, a world that works for everyone. I love the idea that heroic talks about. Yeah, I said that word. As far as we're looking to build a world that in which 51% of the population thrives by the year 2051. Pie in the sky, right up there with trying to go to the moon. Doable? I like to think so. So this is my part. This is my world, to get women out, especially to appeal to women who are feeling that they're wasted space because society has deemed them such and so because they are not married or they don't have children or whatever it is. And really move from that place of you're not wasted space into this space of you're living your Shiro story. I am Murphy of Shiro Rising. Come on back, join me sometime. Thank you, thank you, thank you.